Sometimes it don't make no sense. Does it really have to?
Good evening. Welcome to another episode this evening, Sunday evening. Tonight we have one of our special guests from the club that I run with or for. He's my colleague on the road, Fhatu, and I invited him here because of his humor and how he has progressed, especially from the time we've met like in over a year now, ne? Yeah. So, but welcome to the live, Fhatu. How are you? You are muted.
Oh, thank you. I forget this mute thing, with this technology that we're using. So no, thank you so much for for the welcome. Yeah, it's been a whole lot of plus close to 14, 15 months we've been running together,
Yeah.
in in our little crew there by Benoni with the waterfall athletics club. Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, but it's been a wonderful experience. Yeah, just getting to know all of you, new people. It's always good to meet new people and know new people,
Yes, yes,
especially in with something as nice as running.
yes, yes. You get to learn even other things you didn't know. Uti, you didn't know you don't know those things. Ne?
It's always the I always say this that you don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know. So it's
Uh,
always a thing, that yeah, you open to learning or you open to new experiences, new people, then you know something that you don't know. So you don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know.
yes, yes. So, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Since I've been saying your name, did I?
Yes, my name is Fhatuwani. Maiwashe, it's my surname. Uh,
Okay.
I'm Venda man from Venda. Came to Gauteng years ago. I think it was in the year 2005 or 4, just after
So
I finished
long.
my varsity. And like anyone else, came here looking for gold. I'm
Do
still
you have
searching.
any?
I'm still searching for such, gold. Yeah, but yes, you have you are pronouncing my name correctly. It's often people say Patwani. It's like Patwani. It's like almost need to be blowing air. Patwani. Yeah, but
And
you
whether how do you want it to be pronounced?
well, I wanted to be like any other with one's name. Names are important because names are rooted in your being or your ancestry. So I always want my name to be called correctly, Padwani, because you call me, then my ancestors they don't know what you're talking to, So yeah, so I think it's at least getting a person's name right. What I've learned with that is that you create a point of interest. So the person is now interested in what you've got to say because at least you're getting the basic right that this person cares enough to call me by my name correctly or attempt to if it is some names are difficult. You never know. Like Peter, you can't say Peter correctly.
Yes. So when we shorten it, is that sorry about this, but when we shorten it, like in our community, in our run city Fatu, is that or usuyasiyeka nje, you just let us be? Is it correct to cut it short?
Well, cutting it short, there's no issues with it because already you're cutting it short. So part two, it's correct. It comes across as far too, but that still works. So
Oh, part.
yeah, it still works for me. So it's not
All right.
so much
All
of a
right.
problem. But
All right.
if you calling me for an official thing, yes, but one is the name. It's the
Ne?
name called, yes.
All right. Okay. So what I've called you here for is to listen to your story, because I believe every run or every runner has a story. So, but before we get into that, uh, beyond running, who are you, and what do people know you about out there?
Yo, wow, that's a very interesting question to ask, Who are you? Well, I can say, I've always looked at myself as a village boy, number one, first and foremost. That's who I am. That's where I'm rooted in my village, in my community, where I come from. But as as we evolve and develop over a period of time, you learn more about yourself, and that question is quite interesting because it's often something that you know it comes up often. Who I am in the bigger scheme. So who I am is it's a village boy. I'm a family man. I'm a South African, a law-abiding citizen, and I like to think I'm an all-round, good person.
Yes.
But as we evolve over time, yeah, we learn new things about ourselves. Yeah. So who I am in short, if I have to summarize it, I'll say, yeah, that's who I am. I'm a village boy, trying to find his way in the big lights of Gauteng, and always looking back to how far one has traveled, how far one has come along. Yeah.
Okay. And then how did running enter in your life? Were you always an active person from high school or primary, or is it a now thing as an adult?
Well, running, as a sport, I'll say, well, this context is running as a sport was never in my childhood was never something, on the plate or on offer. Because as you know, we often gravitate towards sports like soccer and stuff like that. So I used to play soccer in my childhood for my village club and also for my school, my primary school. And as I progressed grew over the years, I started, playing other sports. I had played volleyball with my friends. It didn't involve a lot of running, so it was fun. And but I always, there was always athletics at school. But I was back then. I was just a fan. I was never that fast. I'm never that fast. Even now, if I have to say, I'm a very moderate runner. So how it all started about was one day. I think I was at work. There was this gentleman, his name is Velile Memela. He used to be chairperson of Waterfall Athletics Club. So we were just having, tea break, just office talk, and then he said something to the effect that no, they've got a running club somewhere in Waterfall that they run. I must come and join. So I thought saw it as a way to, okay, this guy is selling me this. Let me just go and try it out. So
Mm.
ever since that time, yeah, I've been running for a while now. But yeah, it's a nice sport to be in, or activity to be engaged in.
Okay, okay. So, can you remember your very first run, how it felt like? Be it was training or it was your first official race where you said, "Let me go buy entry, remind you." What? How? How were those runs like?
I think my very first run was preceding that discussion we had, with at lunch at tea. And on a
Mm.
Saturday, I think I went and said, no, I'll come and join you guys. I went there, and when I got there, everybody was dressed properly. Right? I had the right shoes and everything. But at that time, it didn't bother me. I didn't know anything about the sport. There was
Yeah,
a coach, I think, that they had brought. They were running some hill repeats or some speed sessions. Yo,
uh-huh.
I joined those guys. I ran, I think 200 meters in, I pulled my hamstring because didn't even warm up. It was never a thing for me. So I didn't know
Yeah.
anything. Pulled my hamstring. Then I didn't even know that it's a thing. So it's like, yeah, I'm feeling pain behind my thighs. And then I was like, I'm stopping. Then I left. So yeah, that was my very first run. It was a training run. I
Oh,
mean,
so wait, you didn't even tell anyone at that time ukuthi, "Ayi wena Khumalo," or you came
hey,
in late to even get a chance to warm up. What had happened?
no, I didn't know anything about, that you have to do all these things before you actually run. So I
Yeah.
just got off my car, went and joined the group and just started running. So,
Nah.
so that's when I got that little pull. Then I was like, this thing doesn't look like it's for me, man. So
Mm,
yeah, but that was my very first socialized run. So if I have to put it like
okay.
that,
Yeah.
within a group context, yeah. But then my very first ever race, you,
You can't
I've
even
ran,
remember. There's so
I've
many.
ran so many races. You, which one was that one? If
So
I'm
was
not
it before COVID times or after? If it's that
Yeah,
many,
I think it was just before COVID. I think
here we've been
it
running
was.
for a
Oh
while.
yes, I recall my very first race was the Pretoria Phobians Marathon. I think at that time it was still sponsored by Deloitte or somebody like that. So they used to call it the Deloitte Marathon. That was my very first race, and Lord and behold, I went and entered a 21. I never ran a 21 in my life before. Had never ran past 16 kilometers.
On your
Went and
training.
entered, yeah, on my trainings. So
Yeah.
went and entered that race because somebody was hyping it up. Hey, we need to go. There is this big race called Phobians. By the Phobians, hosted by the Phobians Club and whatnot. I joined it, and yeah, that was my very first race. I think I ran 21 kilometers, close to 3 hours 45 minutes, almost 4 hours of running.
Oh, nah.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable if you say that compared to what I know, what how you run today versus then such a huge. So it also shows a discipline. So after that race, the rest is history. Have you?
Yeah, well, after that race, you know what happened? I actually
Mm.
stopped running because I think it was preceding the COVID pandemic. So I think when the pandemic happened, I was not running at all. I think I was just doing gym. Basically, I actually felt like I'm no longer into running, so to speak. So then I took about a break of close to 3 to 4 years. So effectively, I started running again in the year 2024. Believe it or not,
Oh,
that's when
okay.
I decided. You know what? I actually started looking for sports or activities that I could do. So one of the things I was doing was cycling. So I was cycling a lot
Uh,
post the COVID pandemic with a good friend of mine, and off-road mountain biking. But then I looked at my stomach; it wasn't coming down. So I was like, "Hey, what was I doing before?" So I said, no, I used to run, and I lose and okay, no, I'm gonna rejoin the club, as a start. So 2024 I went back to run. So I had a proper long break between just before the pandemic and until the year 2024, where I was effectively not doing anything, productive from a active point of view.
let's see. So it's how in you wait, kahle, you would say it pushed you into thinking, "Uthi, why? What can I do to shed off this extra fat?" So it was about losing weight in a way.
Yeah, so it was about losing weight. It was just about mental, if I call it mental activation, stress
Mm.
relieving. I
Okay.
needed to find an outlet, where I can deposit, the stress, and I thought, running has, when I was doing it, at least before the pandemic, I found it very helpful. So it was a combination of a whole lot of things, and just to be active as well. That was one of the big drivers, because I think I remember I attended some funeral, and my button was not closing properly on one of my shirts. So I thought, oh man, I need to do something about that. So so
Ish,
yeah.
and it's sometimes, well, I don't know if it's me or what. Sometimes I would think, Uguti, men don't really worry about their weight. Uh, Even if they were to gain a bit around their belly, they just buy an exercise and then get on with
Ah,
their.
no, we do worry. So my driver as well was, uh, from a family point of view, we've got a history of a hereditary, diseases, things like diabetes and all that kind of stuff. So I've seen my parents; they were quite active, and as we engage more, they said, you know what, it's because of 1, 2, 3. You need to keep your body active so that opportunistic diseases don't, get you. So for me, it was also that was also one of the drivers to say, one needs to look after themselves. One
Yeah.
needs to try and do as much as they can, to
Yes.
alleviate some of the opportunities within the context of my family, history
Mm.
with these things that we only find out much later in our lives, and at that time you are already on medication. And sometimes I didn't see that for myself in the long term. I'll take my pills when my time comes, but not now.
Nah. And then there is, you just reminded me about Kuti, the saying, Eti, it's either you pay now or you pay later. Whatever you choose to pay now with a sacrifice and pushing and discipline, or later you even pay with hospital bills, the medication lay, or with pain because you'll be in pain. Masuqala ukuthatha painkillers or this medication. So we really have to choose what payment you
Yeah,
do.
so it's always, that thing they always say that prevention is better than cure. You
Yeah.
only get to ultimately understand or grasp the importance of that thing when you are at the cure point of view, at the cure stage. So, but because what happens is that prevention is a lot. It takes a lot of work.
Mm.
That's where the difficulty is at, because you put in the work now, and then in future you don't have to go for the cure, because you've prevented something that would have otherwise have happened in the future. So yeah, this is that's the most difficult thing, is putting in the work.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Do you know David Goggins, that guy who trains a lot? He's an American. I don't know if you know of him.
Is it an African American guy?
Yes. Yes.
The one who
Yo,
was a
it
who was a
straight.
navy who was a
Yes.
Navy SEAL.
Yes. Would you go to those extremes?
No, not necessarily. Because for me, I don't. I'm not. I am. There's those. For a lack of better word, there's those overzealous. Overzealous
Yeah.
people. They go in and then they. I am more of a um, moderate. If I have to call it, I'm a moderate activist. I don't want too much pain, and I don't want too much softness. I just want to be at the tender, middle part, and just
Mm.
be. Because I've also accepted that I will never have a six pack. So that that is out for me. So I've accepted that part. I've also, yeah, to say that this is for now. It's just maintenance. You need to feel good as long as I feel good in my skin, and I think that for me is, because I don't think I know. No, I don't think I'll achieve that. That's just too much.
Ish. Eh,
That's like going to the gym every day. We've got stuff to do.
eh.
Can't do that.
And then when you speak about that, going to the gym every day, how is winter treating you, or how are you treating your routine now that it's winter? Is it easy for you to wake up in the morning with the alarm, and do you just get out of everything and
And
go?
you see, so the one thing about or what I've learned about myself over the years is that I if if I set up time, I will stick to that time. I would wake up, because I've if I've given an undertaking to do something, I try my level best to commit. So
Mm,
last year, for example, I was running with one of our colleagues, Russell, in winter. It was very cold, and he
mm,
said, "Hey, we might, some we might cut." And I said, "No, if we don't show resilience during the cold month, then a lot of people are gonna drop, because everybody now is gonna slack and say, oh, it's winter, it's cold.
yeah.
But if you make a commitment, to do some, especially in the running community, right? We often run in groups, and if I commit that I'm gonna come and run with you, I think it's only fair that I follow it through. But myself, naturally, I've always been an early bird. I wake up very early and I also sleep very early. So which is
Uh,
a very good counterbalance. So it's almost my bedtime now. So but but because Bafana is playing, I'm gonna stay up.
okay, I was about to ask that too. What about the game at 9? You're
Ah,
gonna
no,
set
no, no.
that time.
No, I'm patriotic today. Everybody's patriotic. Yeah, so I'm patriotic as well.
Yeah. So also, what was that question just went away. We are speaking about waking up and being in early bed, but no, it's fine. With now with mindset and discipline, I'm coming there because you've just you've improved a lot. Pace yakho, and yes, distance you do most of high mileage. So are you considering, or what do you think of comrades marathon or ultra marathon running? Where do you see yourself around those
Okay. I think I don't know who it was, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Kavelo Mabalane who said, I don't know which year he said it. He said that we must all try run comrade once in our lifetime, you know? And I have, for the longest time, I've told my friends, my close friends, that whenever we were running, like, one day you'll run comrades. I always denied flat out. I said, it can never be me. This is crazy
really?
stuff. Yes, because I spend most of my time um no only running, my longest distance were always 21s. I'd never gone past 30. Um, uh, remember my timeline of when I started to run just before COVID-19 years.
Yes.
I've never run past 21. I've never run past 30. So last year I got some courage. For the first time last year, I think Jacaranda Marathon was my very first full marathon. Imagine that. And then once I had done that, I thought, and I told my friends, I said, guys, this thing we can do this thing, man. And then, and then they started saying, you see, we told you will come along, and soon enough you'll be talking about comrades. I was like, I struck them again, brushed them off, and I told them, you know what, marathon is my thing. Now I can run marathon. I wanted to prove that I can finish a 42-kilometer race and whatnot. But comrades, the big C is not in my, in my near future. This was me about six. When was Jarand? Last year, October. Yeah, a couple of months back, not so long, not so long ago. Yeah. So now, like you said, well, you've got the privilege that we run together, and you've also got the privilege that we've got a base. You know where I'm coming from and whatnot. So, but
Yes.
right now, like you said, why am I running fast? I decided I listened to somebody say, if you wanna get better, you must be consistent. You must put in consistency. And consistency, that person, when I was talking to them, they said, it doesn't mean that you must go flat out and be those situation. It just means that every opportunity you have, you put in an effort to the best of your ability, and that's when you're gonna start. improving or seeing some improvements. So yeah, I'll say yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Anything else, it's up to, it will depend on the ancestors if they want me to go or not.
I,
But yes, Cabello did say once in a lifetime.
with what I'm seeing, I can bet you will. There will come a year that you'll hear you saying, "With this year, I'm trading for e-commerce."
Yeah,
You
hopefully.
it will come because lentally it's like I don't know, some culture or cult. Draw in. You wanna put in some distance. I've run enough 42s now. Let me try 50, 56, and then you'll say 90.
Yes, so I tried last year. Was it last year? I think Omdi Dam. I registered for Omdi Dam. I think it's a 56 Ultra, something like that. And kilometer 27, I pulled my groin, so I stopped. And I
Ooh,
told myself, "Ah, this thing is not for me. Me, I'm a 21 kind of guy, you know."
yes,
Uh, but I thought after a while, after I've recovered and I looked at it, it's like, man, we can never give up on the human spirit. If people can run from Durban to Peter Marisburg to Durban, back to back years, I mean, the human spirit tells us we can do anything,
yeah,
if we put in
yes,
the effort. Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm not making any promises to anyone. I am saying, uh, for now, I'll take it one day at a time, one
I
kilometer at a time.
mean, I know you will eventually run e-commerce. Watch face.
Yeah.
Um, so now on the discipline or the consistency for someone who's interested in starting their running journey, especially, well, not per se long distance, but in their mind, they think they just want to do long distance because you are not running fast there, you're not pushing hard, endurance most of the time. What would you say to them? What must they expect, or how should they take it upon them
Well, the thing
based
is,
on what you've experienced? Of course. Sorry.
oh yeah, I think the best way it's always not to put too much pressure on yourself. Is to allow a gradual, improvement in your work ethic, when it comes to running, in your commitment, when it comes to the time to actually go run, in your preparation in terms of, moving things. We are either busy with work, busy with life happening around us. So we almost have to make the preparation to go and do that. So from what my experience has told me, that there's not too much pressure that one needs to exact on themselves. We just take this thing one day at a time, and going easy doesn't mean that you won't reach your end goals. If you know which ones are your end goals, you ultimately get there. So
Mm,
yeah, so I often see people wanna do everything. Oh, what I wanted to do was, when I was running, with my friends, I would think, this guy, I should have been here. I could have been here. Wanted everything to at the same time. But then the advice I got, and I think is like, it will come. All you need to do is just be consistent, stay focused on ultimately what you want to achieve, whether it be weight loss, whether it be improving your speed, whether it be going to comrades. If you just focus and remain consistent, I think that's the lesson I can say. Well, it has been passed to me, and yeah, I think that's something that if one has to ask, I'll say we must stay consistent, and actually put in the effort and be committed, to that particular, activity you are doing.
Mhm. And then in terms of the running gear now, with the shoes, especially the shoes, and maybe the watch, the devices we wear, um, and with what's going on social media, because sometimes once you are interested in something, you just go on social media and check out what people do or local people what they are involved in. So, kune politic on shoes, on running shoes. Which one as a beginner? Why must you get expensive shoes versus a starter shoes, cheap shoes? What would you say, or how has that been for you? Uh,
When I when I started running, well, it was it was never a thing that I even put much thought into it, because I just saw my legs and they need to be protected from the road. And if I'm
mm,
wearing something that protects my legs, my feet from the road, I'm 100% fine. But then again, lately, like you said, social media has got so many voices. There's so much information out there that says a lot. Some of it is useful, some of it, well, the way I see it is just, yeah, it's just too much, it's just too extravagant.
yeah.
But from my experience, what I have learned is that, there is information packs out there. What I've learned from well, with the experience that I have now, I will
Mm,
say that if one is interested in running, the first thing to do is to understand, your own body. For example, your feet. What type of feet do you have? Do you have club foot? Do you have arched foot and all that kind of stuff? That information, even it's there on social media. I think that is some of the most helpful information, just to understand the profile of your feet. But
yeah.
often people get distracted by the bling. I'm wearing this brand, this one broke the 2 hour marathon record, and then people just flood. And there's carbon plated. People are often distracted by the bling. But from my experience, I think the first thing is to understand the profile of your feet, because when you run, and you get injured, often it's because of the gear you're wearing, especially in your foot, for your feet, because they are having a very big impact with the road, because that's your first contact, and that's your last contact. You start running, your feet are always on the road, so it doesn't matter the brand that is popular or not popular. Well, according to me, I think what matters the most is that you understand the profile of your feet, and then you get the appropriate um, running shoes for your feet that suits your feet, irrespective of whether they're a popular brand or not. Say this one likes this one that. Yeah. Well, with the watches, it's always good to get a watch that can tell time, how much time you have ran. Essentially, you want to
Yeah.
know for how long you have been running for. And now they range from this to that price and whatnot. This brand, again, it's a choice. But the way I look at it is that if your watch can measure how long you have ran for, and it's within your range of means, I say go for it. And you chances are the future is gonna change. If you want a bigger watch, you can always go buy it. But if you're starting out, there's really no need
Yeah.
for all these fancy gadgets and everything. You just
Yes.
need to understand the profile of your feet, at least according to me. That's what
Okay.
I would say to somebody.
And then when it comes to food and supplements, what is your take
You,
on that?
Tandega, you are raising a very, I have to tell you that I'm like in my running journey all these years, man. I've never really considered, or put much effort into those type of that thinking about food, thinking about that. Well, like from where I'm coming from, I'm a village boy. I'm like, if there's no pap, there's no food. That we have not yet eaten because we haven't had pap.
Yeah.
But there's so like you said, there's so much information now about the food, the gels and whatnot. But I've always said that that shouldn't be a hindrance to a beginner. A beginner must just wake up and go and run. Once you are at a point where you want to compete or you want to aspire to certain distances like your ultra marathons, your comrade and the like, that's where maybe well, according to me, I think that's where you need to start thinking strategically about those type of things, creating programs and sorry and whatnot for your diets and everything. But if you are like me and you just want to run with your friends in the park around the area where you stay, I think you just need to go run and follow the normal diet requirements that you know allows you to achieve whatever objectives you've set out to achieve, because
Yeah.
it just gets too much. There's so much out there.
Yes, yes.
But
And to
then if you're doing it, if you want to run your races, your big races, your comrades and the like, then you need to consider a program about your diets, a program about your gels, your supplements, and all that stuff. I think that's the right time to consider that. But other than that, if you're just running for fun, like we do at a park run, I don't think you need all those type of
all
things.
those gels and protein
Yes,
powders and,
yes,
and,
it's a lot.
kuningi.
I think.
So, what has running revealed about your character?
Why you having? You don't ask me these questions when we're running together. You just have to ask me now in front of the people. Uh, yeah, that's a
Oh,
very very interesting question.
Mswengifa.
So I think um, from a character point of view, I think I've got heart. I think I've got heart in the sense that I don't give up easily. You know,
Mm,
I understand my limits, but I will never give up on something or throw in a towel. I think running has revealed that about myself to say that because running gets hard, especially when you're
yes.
running alone. It gets hard, and often the easy thing is to stop. They always say, I mean, angbulalanga muntu. I didn't kill anyone. Why must I do all these things? I didn't kill anyone. So let me stop. And yeah, running has revealed that about myself to say when it gets tough, I think you can actually do more. And I think, yeah, that's what is the spirit of resilience. Yeah, something that I think everybody has in them. Is just that at that point between giving up, and I think that's where the challenge is. But yeah, I'm finding that to be, yeah, um yeah, a point where I'm managing to pass, and come sometimes, not every day, but yeah, I'm managing to pass more often that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it ever get difficult for you as well? Because on training day, Pella, you guys are always cruising. You go far an extra kilometer and then you come back and fetch us. If we run early in the morning, about 4, you come and fetch us and then you leave us behind. So I don't even get to ask you guys these questions because I'll be fighting for my for my survival. Ngikusurvival mode size soqeda. But yeah, so does it ever get difficult for you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it does get difficult for me. I mean, the last training run, I think the last Tuesday or so, yeah, I was really struggling, and
Mhm.
the guys were moving, and funny enough, we normally have a route. We didn't have a route, so because I'm familiar with the place where we run, I was like the route guy, but I was really struggling at the back, and I kept on shouting, "Hey, turn left!" And so it does, because remember, um, the body does get tired. Sometimes the body just needs a holiday,
Yeah.
from the running. It gets tired. You need to rest. You need to refresh. So yeah, and remember, we're not always gonna have a good day every day. It's not possible.
Mm.
Some days you're just tired, but like I said earlier, is that when you've made a commitment, like I said, I'm gonna come through, and even though I'm tired, the body's not at its peak at the time. I've made a commitment. I've showed up, and I've shown solidarity with the guys, and good team spirit. It's important to show up, especially once you've made a commitment in our settings, in our group run settings. Yeah, and I just run, and one person told me that you don't always have to run fast every time, because
Mm.
you can
Yeah.
also take it easy and just run. And they say that you burn more fat anyway if you're walking, so you might
Yeah.
also you might as well be slow.
Yeah. And then how has running shaped your identity as a man?
You Oh man, yeah, heavy today. So I would say, running sometimes requires patience. Sometimes you as a man, you don't have the space for that patience, because you're there's too many demands sometimes placed on a male, sometimes, especially within our society. There's so many demands, and often you need to take some time, but demands these days, they don't allow that space, because everything is fast. You need to decide. I need to decide now, how the family must be provided for. I need to decide now how, things must work out. If something breaks, it's almost in a rush, right? So I think with running, it has one of the things I can take out is that it has brought the patient, being patient, that quality out, because now, because you have to finish, and sometimes it cannot be rushed. So that means that you have to be patient with how you approach each kilo, each hill, each
Mm.
climb, each down, you know. Yeah, I think that's the one thing that has come out that I think might have been inherent that I never had. Like, oh, take this, go away. Go sit there. Hey,
Yeah.
stop making noise. Da, 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 da. So
Yes.
yeah, a little bit more patient.
Okay.
Yeah.
A- And then has it, how can I put this? But I'm leaning more now to the mental strength part of it. Ukuthi, how has it helped you? Do you think if you were to stop and do something different, will it will it change how your mental strength has been because of running?
Yeah, I think I'm hooked now. Hey.
Nah.
So I think the only thing that can really make me stop right now is some freak injuries or something because I
Mm.
it's running is the one thing for me, at least for me, that it is within a community, but it is also very individual. I don't know if you know what I mean. It is with a community in the context that we draw strength from each other's achievements. We draw strength from each other's support in that sense. But also at the end of the day, you are alone on that road. It's between you and that road within the community. So um, you've got an orange kind of situation where you've got the outer protection, which is your community support and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got the actual inside of the orange where it's you and the road. It's very individual, it's very uh,
Yeah.
discipline, oriented. It draws a lot of you on your own. You said, yeah, I don't think I can do it because these other team sports, I don't think I can play soccer, volleyball. And I don't wanna. No, I don't think I can. But if I have to do something else other than running, I think it will be maybe associated with like gym training and stuff like that. That's the
Uh,
closest thing, that is also within a community setup, but very individual focused as well.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We are nearing an end. Um. Now we are on. Okay. Back on the advice for newcomers, new runners that would like or are already interested in running. What would you say to someone who wants to start but feels intimidated now? I skipped that question. Yes, I wanted to get that.
Oh, yeah. I would say there's always one thing one must always do for themselves is to start, right?
Mm,
And I think intimidation or that feeling of being intimidated, I think it mostly comes from maybe a space where you don't have enough data about what you're about to do, and I think you feel intimidated because human beings we don't like this notion that we don't know what we don't know, you know because
yeah,
we want to be seen to be, yeah, I'm doing like others because we are uh, in a way interdependence, but sometimes it's very difficult to come out. And so I think the first thing one must do, they must always start that
mm,
walk, start that run, and take it from there, and then stay consistent, because that ultimately will take that being intimidated feeling, because once you get inside the running community, you're not gonna go out. That community is infectious. It's
yeah,
I can tell you now. I mean, like, we've been running together for a while, right? But
Mhm.
if I'm trying to get to the, but if I for some reason see you on a race and I'm tired, and I just see that familiarity, that, oh, that's Tande, oh, Tande. It has got so much boost. I don't know where that thing come from. It's got that. So the running community is infectious in the sense that, just your face just gives me a lift. That this is the person that we train together. This is the
Eh,
person that we run together. This is my support. In this running journey that we're doing. It's a feeling and a half. I've measured the waterfall race, the 21K.
mm,
And at that time, I'm so focused. But then I was like, I think this is my cards. I think this is definitely turning around. And then
eh,
I'm sure you get a big shot as well.
yes, yes, yes. It's quite a good feeling. It's, yes, like you say, it's priceless. It's good to have that kind of support. Cause in jail on an unfamiliar, well, no face on a race where you don't see one familiar face, it kind of feels so lonely. It's a lonely
Yeah.
race, even though you go there as an individual to complete a goal to Zeni, but seeing faces you know of, yeah, it's always exciting and a boost.
No, it is definitely a boost, man. I mean, like I said, the running community is infectious.
Yeah. All right, all right. We've come to an end, but before I let you go, last episode, the previous episode, our guest had left a question for you, a random question. Um, I will read it out for you. They had asked Guti, why couldn't you do this 10 years ago? So, yeah, in
Years
running, in
ago
any,
was 2016. 10 years ago was 2016,
yes,
right?
2016, yes.
Yo.
Were you running at that time? No.
I think
Yes.
I just started running at the time,
Also,
but
you
uh,
that. Yeah. Ne?
but I was not at this way that I
At
was
this
not. I
level.
never looked at running with the same lenses as I look at it today. I think back then I was just happy to be out of the house, just for
No.
that jog, because I like some sneakers, and somebody said they are running shoes, and I had already bought them, so might as well run. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would say that I can tell you, if you have to run and you have the opportunity to go back and start 10 years back, I think I would have run. I would have chosen running as a thing, because there's so many benefits to it. Why I didn't do it? I guess I would say sometimes being young also contributes to that, because when you're young, e- everything is there's so many stuff that you have to do, and there's somehow so many places you have to be, and
Yeah.
the one place where you are not, it's the place that you will be 10 years later, which is in the running space, or the gym
Eh,
space, or the cycling space.
yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
guess that's
Thank you
that. Yeah.
for that. All right. And then what would you want me to ask our next guest on the next episode? Any random question?
Yo. Okay, my question will be, Do you think that runners in the coast and or vice versa, or runners in the coast versus runners in the inland, if you
Mhm.
had to belong to a particular place, if you had you've got the luxury of, moving or being in those places, which runner would you be? An inland runner or a coastal runner? My question derives from the fact people always say, "Oh, running down there it's easy, running up here is difficult, and whatnot." Which runner would you prefer to be, inland or an, you know, coastal
Okay.
runner?
That's an interesting question. Hey. No, but I love the ocean. I miss the ocean. I mean, I don't even know why I'm here because I haven't found the gold. So yeah, I want to go back along the coast.
I know your ancestors are calling you. They're down there anyway.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that question as well. And then thank you for sharing the journey with us or with me. It's a good reminder, Uguti. We must deal with pressure the healthy way. Singers forget pressure. Well, for me, because we pressure. I can pressurize myself. So, but having these conversations with each one of you guys, it really assists me in the way you guys can imagine. But yeah, thank you for being with me, and I'm wishing you a productive week ahead.
Thank you so much. Been a pleasure. Please, you must come Tuesday.
Yes, I should. Schools are closed. Mina, my issue is usually school run in the morning. My kids are all
Oh,
under 9, so but prepare again. But now that
okay.
schools are closed, I will resume with you guys Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will be there.
Okay.
All
No,
right.
man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for hosting me. And yeah, you got me some interesting questions. I think I will explore them further about
Yeah.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Thank
All
you.
right. Good
Okay,
night.
cheers. Okay,
Sure.
cheers. Bye.
Sometimes it don't make no sense. Does it really have to?